I'm busy, Squeaky. Busy. Busy. Come on. Come on, get up here. You big baby. Get out of the way. Alright, let's see. What was I doing? Right here. There we go. Okay, that looks better. Squeaky, you gotta take it down a level. Take it down a level, buddy. Alright, I'm spamming some channels here really quick. Gone. Whee! There that goes. Alright. Now let's go over. Let's go over here. And get one over. Alright, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the starting soon stage of the live stream. Wow. I just went to YouTube. The thumbnails, man. It's awesome. Where am I going? I go to my channel. Oh. Here we go. There we go. Whee! Where's the video? Add an existing YouTube video. Oh, I can actually link to my live stream. Oh, I am awesome. Ha! Look at that. Post that sucker. Whee! Alright. There. Done. That's done. Good to go. Alright, well, let's start this sucker. Hold on a second. I gotta get a drink of coffee first. Oh, yeah. Don't look at me like that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome to the live stream. Tonight we're just hanging out, answering some questions. My co-answer question answer person, Cat, is right here. He's gonna be competing for your attention, fighting me because I'm talking to you and not talking to him, I suppose. I don't know, I don't normally talk to him anyway. I just rub his belly. Anyway, Q&A tonight, so, you know, throw questions in the chat and stuff, and we'll talk and all that kind of things. If you remind me, we'll do a cat strike, and I'll give my cats treats and see how many of them we can get down here. We can probably give them some catnip, too. I just need to get reminded, because I always forget to do those things. We had this habit, and then we fell away from it, and now I need people yelling at me to remind me to do these things. So, but anyway, that's tonight. So before we jump into the Q&A, we have reminders, announcements, sleazy plugs, whatever. First, next week, I will be at GameholeCon. It is in Wisconsin, right? Yeah, that's where they have the cheese. It is in Wisconsin. I don't know where. The GPS will tell me where to go, but if you type in Google GameholeCon, I'm pretty sure it'll tell you. So I'll be there. I am running a game of Shadow Dark there. It filled up everything filled up the first day. It wasn't just my game. Like, I was trying to find games to play in on my when you know you could actually sign up for games, and everything was already full. So like nothing is available. So but anyway, so yeah, I'm running a game in Shadow Dark there, and it's already full. So don't get your hopes up. But I actually, about a week ago, I was trying to submit a second game because everything was full and there was no games for me to join. And I was like, well, if I can't play in a game, well, there were games to join. They were either game systems I had never heard of and did not sound interesting, or they were D&D 5th edition, and I have zero, desire to play D&D 5th edition. So I was like, okay, if there are no games for me to play in, well then I'll just run another game. But you couldn't submit any more games at that point, so I might run a pickup game on Saturday afternoon. That's when I couldn't find a game to play in, which is the busiest. Most conventions are the busiest on Saturdays. So anyway, I might run a pickup game there in like one of the. They have like free gaming areas, so I might do that on Saturday. We'll see. I'll probably make a post on my Discord or something, and then just whoever shows up will play, type of thing. So, but that's no guarantees. Who knows? You never know what's gonna happen. But anyway, I'll be there next week. So if you're there, you see me, come say hi. It'll be awesome. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing next week. Madison, Wisconsin. There we go. Somebody can use Google. I could have Googled it too. There's actually a site, I think, something about let me Google that for you or something. All right, cool. I was thinking of going to PAX Unplugged in December, but I don't think that's going to happen because it's in Philadelphia. And I was looking at the crime statistics and the crime graph and stuff, and it's like, I don't think I want to go to that city. I don't like big cities to begin with. And that was that. I just like, nah. I was just looking at that and I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to do that. That's too crazy. That's too crazy. So anyway, I think PAX Unplugged is out the door. But I was looking at, I think I'll probably be going to Origins next year, which I think is in June. And then I'll almost surely be at GaryCon, which is like in the spring-ish or late winter-ish time or something. And then I'll be at Gen Con too, I'm sure. So anyway, those are my upcoming conventions, if anybody cares. Who's my favorite D&D YouTuber? I can't answer that question. It wouldn't be fair. Because I'm friends with a lot of other D&D YouTubers, and the moment I say somebody's name is the moment that everybody else feels bad because I didn't say their name, you know. So I'm not gonna answer that question. It's kind of like, I mean, I get these similar feelings, like, it's kind of like I know how it feels because I make Game Master books to help. I have a Game Master book, The Secret of Game Mastery, and sometimes YouTubers will mention books that you can get to improve your game mastery, and people will mention other people's books, but they won't mention mine. And I'll be like, that guy's my friend. He knows me, I know him, but he's mentioning everybody else's books but not mine, and it makes me feel bad. But it's fine, whatever. But the point is that I don't want to be like that, and I don't want to make other people feel bad because I mentioned other people, but I didn't mention them. Because I don't like feeling that way myself, and so I'm not gonna do it to other people. So, yeah. So I'm not gonna name names. Just leave it at that. But it's a fine question. I'm not gonna answer it. I should have had some. If I were like a politician person, I would have like some sort of like sleazy redirect to a talking point where I don't answer your question and I change the subject entirely and go on to something else. Ideally something a little bit that'll get you riled up and forget that you asked the question. But I'm not like that, I suppose. My favorite non-D&D YouTuber? Oh, well, that I can answer that question. I really like Donut Operator. If you guys, he does like police shooting. They're almost always a shooting. Sometimes it's a stabbing, but he does videos on that, and then he gives commentary on it a little bit. So I like his stuff. And then the other ones I like are very political, so I won't mention those because people lose their minds, and we probably don't need that tonight. So, because I watch a lot of political stuff, and then I like to watch the police videos because I love seeing idiots doing stupid stuff and then going to jail for it. And then the drunk people just out of their minds. And I don't know how police officers deal with that kind of stuff, man. I wouldn't be able to take it, man. Having to deal with idiots and the stuff they do, and then you get in trouble. You know, you have to like walk on eggshells because you're afraid, you know, you're gonna lose your job or go to jail yourself because you were just doing your job. I don't know. I couldn't do that. It was crazy. And it's not like they get paid tons of money either. So I totally respect what police officers do and what they have to deal with. And I watch these videos and I'm just like, holy crap, crazy people, you know, crazy people. And then it's just stupid. It's just crazy stuff, man. So anyway, but I find those videos to be entertaining, I guess. I'm not through my sleazy plugs yet. You guys distracted me with your questions. Okay, next thing. We're trying to find a couple more writers for our products. So we're hiring a couple writers. If I could get one of my moderators to put yeah, you don't like that. You don't have to run away. Just stop biting me. Jeez. He doesn't like getting blowed on. That's not fair. You have coffee breath. There should be a link in the chat where you can put your application in. We're trying to find a couple writers for our products. We have amazing writers that write for us, but I think we're kind of thinking we need maybe a couple more or something just to kind of make sure that we're not, you know, overburdening our current crew and just be like, right, we need more. Please write for us. Go. And they're like, mercy. So we need like a couple more. So link there. And please be aware. Your, what do we call that thing? When you apply, your portfolio is like the most important thing. Your portfolio. We want to see what you can write. And your game master notes are probably not going to impress us. We want to see something that demonstrates your ability to write write well, and also your ability as a game designer. We want to see, do you know how to game design? Can you create an adventure? Can you create traps or puzzles or monsters? You know, can you do that stuff? Can you do it well? So we're really looking for that. So that's what we want to see in your portfolio. I'll tell you that when my guy Zach goes through and starts, you know, narrowing down candidates, if everybody who doesn't have a portfolio, you're in the no pile. It's just the way it works. You have to give us a portfolio. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, so please don't. If you don't have a portfolio, there's no sense in even submitting an application, because like we literally get like 1,000 applications, and like the first step is, well, these 600 people didn't have a portfolio. Okay, well then no. So yeah, it's just the way it works. So please bear that in mind. It is a contract position, a 1099 contractor position. So, you know, we'll give you an assignment, a deadline, and you set your own hours, and you just get it done. And that's kind of the way it works. So yeah, I think that's most important stuff. If you've applied before, please feel free to apply again. We get too many applications to go back through prior applications again. So you have to reapply. It's just the way it works. So yeah. Okay, that's it. Hiring writers. So feel free to apply if you would like. Your stuff would, you know, if you write for us, you'll be going in Lair magazine, our monthly publication, and we pay money for it. Of course, it's not you don't do it for free. It would be nuts. So yeah, that's that. Okay, next we have a giveaway going on tonight. There should be a link in the chat once one of our lovely moderators, it looks like Goliath Cleric is here tonight, so Goliath is our lovely moderator. He'll throw a link to the giveaway down in the chat. Tonight we're going to give away something different, something we haven't given away before. So we are giving away a 3-month membership to the DM Lair Patreon. So if you don't know what we do over on our Patreon, we publish D&D 5th edition and Pathfinder 2 resources. Like I'm showing some on screen right here. We publish adventures, we publish traps, puzzles, monsters. We have shorter adventures we publish. We have a whole bunch of stuff that goes in there, but those are the big things. And every single month we put out a new issue for both 5th edition and Pathfinder 2. And so essentially tonight's giveaway winner, we're going to give you a 3-month membership. So you're going to get Lair magazine for 3 months. And that's what we'll give away tonight. And then, so join that giveaway in the link. It's free to join it. I'll draw the winner at the end of the giveaway, and we'll get you hooked up with some cool stuff. If you're already a patron and you're just like, I'm already a patron, Luke. If you happen to win, then I'll just give you store credit or something. If you're already a patron, it's cool. I'll hook you up with something of value. So if that's a concern, then don't worry. You can still enter, and I'll be nice if you're already a patron. But anyway, that's what we do over for our Patreon. We give our patrons Lair magazine every month. So if you want to get 3 months of that, join the giveaway. There you go. And I mean, if you don't win the giveaway, you can just go, become a patron anyway and get cool crap. So, well, you're gonna fight on my desk while I'm doing this? Really? Yeah, you have nothing to say. That's what I thought. They're both looking away. They're both looking away from me guiltily as I berate them. So anyway, you can become a patron down at the link below if you'd like to, and get some cool stuff for your D&D 5th edition and Pathfinder 2 games. All right. Now we're ready to go full bore question and answer mode. Robert Kennedy, thank you, sir, for the $5 sticker. I appreciate that. His sticker says "try again," so I failed at something. Thank you, sir, for making that clear for everybody in the world to see that I am a failure. Now I'm gonna go cry in the corner, as all failures do. I cry in the corner a lot. I'm used to it. Don't worry. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad for exposing me. All right, let's see some questions. Where are we? What did we talk about? If somebody mails me an adventure, don't mail me an adventure. It'll sit in my PO box for 2 months, and then I'll get it, and I'll be like, "What is this?" And it won't get looked at. Don't mail me an adventure. Just apply with the link with your portfolio. The rocket cow. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, the rocket crotch says, "Well, I'm probably not who you're looking for. I do recommend the choice to choose actual writers rather than ChatGPT or some such." Yeah, we have real human writers. Well, I mean, I think they're human. I don't think I've actually seen 2 or 3 of them, not in person, but over Zoom. So I can verify that at least 2 to 3 of our writers are humans because I've seen their faces before. And the other ones, if they're fake, then they're really good at being fake, because like Zach and I talked to them over Discord and they seem like real people. So I'm pretty sure they're real people. They're real people. The 3-month membership is for the $15 tier, which doesn't have the Foundry packs. It's for Lair magazine itself. Dordiub says, "Would you recommend using official Pathfinder 2 adventures? Are they balanced properly? How about Lair magazine adventures?" So it's going to be hard for me to answer this question because I've only had experience with one Pathfinder 2 official adventure, and that was Abomination Vaults. And I cannot recommend that. I can't. I cannot in good conscience recommend Abomination Vaults because it is so brutally difficult that, like, unless you are veteran players and probably veteran Pathfinder 2 players, you are going to get your butts handed to you. It is going to be brutal. It is probably going to feel like a slog. You're going to die. You're going to have to retreat. It is a meat grinder. Like, we played it for a little bit and we were just getting destroyed. Now, we're not super experienced Pathfinder 2 players, but we weren't like fresh out of the gates either. And a few of the players I know are like really, like, I don't know how to explain it. They're really good at making characters, and they think, and they're really smart people. You know, I don't know how to explain it. And they're veteran players of just TTRPGs in general. And we were just getting smoked, man. There were just some encounters where it's like impossible. What were we? I think we were level 3, and then there was a barbed devil? There was a barbed devil, and there was no way we could beat that. There was no way. It's impossible. And that's just one example of so many. It was just bonkers, so I cannot recommend that one for sure. And now I don't know about the other ones. Anecdotally, I've heard that the official Pathfinder 2 stuff tends to be very hard, but that's just kind of what I've heard, and I don't know if that's true for them all. but I can only speak to the one, and it was so brutal that we stopped playing it. And now Zach, Goliath Cleric, is running a homebrew game for us in Pathfinder 2. Now, and this Abomination Vaults, it was doing things like it would have one solo enemy who was like 2 or 3 levels above the group. So if we were level 3, it was presenting a level 5 creature to us, you know. And anybody who's played Pathfinder 2 knows that when you have a solo boss, like a solo monster, and it's 2 levels above the group's level, it's gonna be really hard because of the way there isn't bounded accuracy in Pathfinder 2. So like that monster's gonna crit a lot more often. You're not gonna crit on it, and you're gonna critically fail your saving throws and stuff. So it's gonna be rough. Its armor class is really high. It's just gonna be hard to hit it. It's you know, if you know Pathfinder 2, you know what I'm saying. So like, and by the way, our group was actually 1 level higher than recommended for the part of the dungeon we were going through, and we were still getting destroyed. So like if we went against a barbed devil at level 3, it was actually in a part of the dungeon that was like for level 2 characters. And I might be getting my numbers, it's not quite totally perfect here because I'm just like remembering what I remember. But it was rough. So yeah, no, I will say though that what we published for Pathfinder 2 in Lair magazine, we don't do that. Okay, we are very careful when we're balancing our adventures for Pathfinder 2. And I'm not necessarily trying to say, like, I don't want to say that we're better than like Paizo at like what they do because it's their thing, but I'm just telling you that this is how we've decided to do it. We don't want people to feel like it's a brutal slogfest where you're just dying every 10 seconds, especially in Pathfinder 2, where it can take you hours to create a character. Like, these are not simple characters to create. It takes a while to create a Pathfinder 2 character. Lots of options, lots of choices. It is a thing. So when we create our adventures for Pathfinder 2, usually almost everything we publish has a boss fight, right? That boss fight is probably going to be a severe challenge, right? So it's not just a moderate, it's a severe. But usually in that same adventure, you're only gonna find one other moderate encounter. The rest of the encounters are probably gonna be low encounters or trivial encounters. So we typically, this is not, I can't say this is true all the time, but generally speaking, you're gonna have one tough fight and then another fight that's it's a moderate fight. It's not, and then the other ones are pretty much gonna be fairly easy. And so we try to balance it in that way so that you don't feel like you have this crazy slog that you're going through. And then, by the way, the people that do our Pathfinder 2 monsters are David N. Ross and William Fisher. And those 2 guys are like veterans. They're seasoned pros with Pathfinder 2 and with D&D 5th edition for what it's worth. And you'll see their names on like books that Paizo publishes and stuff. Like I literally have Abomination Vaults from Paizo, but it's their 5th edition conversion. They converted it to D&D 5th edition, and I have it, and it looks like David Ross worked on that sucker. He did some of that conversion work. And so like we have some veterans that are doing some of this conversion work for us for our Pathfinder 2 stuff to make sure that it's like top notch, but we don't publish our adventures to be brutally impossible to overcome. That's not how we publish them by default. We just don't do that. If you want to run a brutal game, then it's easy to tweak that crap. You can definitely pump it up, but we don't want people out of the gates just be dying left and right, because that's not fun. As much as I talk about the importance of death being an important thing, that the importance of death being a possibility and not wanting to coddle your players and save their bacon, as much as I talk about that, nobody has fun when everybody dies constantly either. Like, that's not fun, right? You want it to be a possibility. It happens every so often. People feel the threat is there and they know that they could die, but you don't actually want it to happen all the time, because it gets really old after a while if you're constantly dying over and over. Unless you're literally in a game where like it's intended to be like a funnel. Like maybe you're running a Dungeon Crawl Classic funnel, and that's the whole point. The point is you roll 5 characters, and then you're probably gonna have 3 of them die. Like, there are some games where that's the point and it's understood, But when it takes you 2+ hours to make a character, you don't want to be dying every game session. That is no fun. I don't think it's fun, at least. Actually, I wouldn't mind dying just as long as I didn't have to spend 2 hours creating a new character. That's crazy. Robert Kennedy, thank you for the $5. He says, keep up the great work, brother. I can reply to these? No way. It says reply. Oh, the time to reply to the super chat has expired. Oh, it expired. What a jerk. Not you, Robert. YouTube. It won't let me reply. Anyway, whatever. Okay, cool. Oh, Luke, I've been running games at high level for over 5 years weekly, live. Oh, dude. I have a lot of respect for that because I don't think I could run high level games, not in D&D 5th edition at least, for too long. I would just lose my mind. The game is so broken at that level, and players have access to so many things as a game master that the style of game that I run does not lend itself well to super broken mechanics. We'll just say that. I think there are styles of play that if you that broken mechanics doesn't matter so much, but because of the way I run my games, I'm very focused on like location-based adventures. I'll call them dungeons, you know, and that sort of thing, and planning them, prepping them, designing them, and stuff like that. And when you have a game mechanic that, for instance, allows you to cast one spell and kill everything in the dungeon, like that's a problem for me because it invalidates like hours and hours of my work, and I just don't want to play that game. But there are other people that don't run games like I run them, and so if somebody overcomes a dungeon with one spell, not a big deal. They might not care about it, but it matters to me. So it's just because of the style of game I play. So I couldn't run high level games for very long because it's just, when I run high level games, part of how I make it work is I rely upon my players not to abuse things that they know can break the game, and I rely upon them to do that. And for the most part, they go along with that and don't abuse things. Sometimes it's come up, but most of the time my players that I have they're veteran players usually, and they're mature people, and they're not there to break the game and do stupid stuff that's going to ruin people's game experience, you know, and so they're good sports about it, you know what I'm saying? But not all players are like that. Some players literally want to look at these broken combos and break the game. They get their jollies from breaking the game, I guess. And then if you try to shut that down, they'll get upset at you and be like, no, according to the rules. Yeah, but Agile Monk, thank you, sir, for gifting 5 DM Lair memberships. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. So it looks like a bunch of you just got a gifted membership. Yay! Thank Agile Monk if you got one of those. That's super cool. Giloom Turcotte, I just mispronounced your name. I am sorry. Says, I love your videos. I binge on them recently. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that, man. I thank you. I'm sorry I screwed your name up. It looks like it's a French name or something, and I can't speak that language. Sorry. Jennifer Mitsutani, hello. You are late, but that's okay. Welcome. Did you have some experience with solo gaming? If yes, did you have some advices? Okay, let me tell you. We are publishing a video on playing solo D&D, where like you alone are playing D&D, and I don't have tons of experience with that. But what I did is I asked my friend Ed Robinson. He helps me do a lot of the research and stuff for our scripts and for the videos. And I asked Ed, hey Ed, I want to do a video on playing D&D by yourself, you alone, but I don't have experience doing that. I don't have time to research it and figure it out. And so I asked Ed to go do it, and he spent hours and hours researching tons of different stuff. So basically he boiled it down to 5 different ways to play solo Dungeons & Dragons, 5 different ways. And so we're gonna have that video is gonna be coming out in November, where we're gonna break down those 5 different ways. And the only one that I personally have experience with is I have fiddled around with ChatGPT running a game for myself. And it was pretty cool at first, and then I started to see the limitations of it. And the first limitation that I saw with ChatGPT running a game for me was that you always succeed. Like, you always succeed. Always. You can't fail. You can't fail. It just lets you succeed. And it gets boring after a little bit. And the second thing, it wasn't asking me for dice rolls. And so I was like, hey, you need to ask me for dice rolls. And it's like, you're right. And then it asked me for a dice roll because I was trying to sneak somewhere. But it only asked me once, and it never asked me a second time. And so I'm gonna have to, once I get back, I've been poking around at that game a little bit here and there. I'm creating a thieves guild, basically. I'm getting a crew together, and I'm just slowly gathering a thieves guild around me is what I'm doing in that game that I'm running. What was the other thing? It wouldn't create obstacles to gameplay. So I would be playing, and it wouldn't create obstacles. Like, there weren't any things to overcome or bad stuff that would happen. And I reprimanded it and said, hey, you can't just let me accomplish everything easily. You need to create obstacles. And then, it had some obstacles appear, like the time that I told it to. And then after that, not quite so much. So I don't know. I'm going to keep trying to teach it. But I feel like it's probably one of those things where, like, when you have some spare time and you just have your phone and you're bored, like, you might just pull up ChatGPT on your phone and just kind of run through your D&D game or whatever. But it definitely is not anywhere close to like real D&D. Not even like close. It's interesting. It captivates me enough that when I'm like, on the throne and I have nothing else to do, I might do that. But I'm not gonna play it instead of other things or whatever. But that's the only one I've personally had experience with, and not a whole lot of it. But I mean, yeah, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible, and it was doing a fairly good job of narrating things and having the NPCs interact with me and stuff. I thought I was pleasantly surprised at how good it was. All things considered. It wasn't like riveting, it's nothing like playing with real people, or even playing like Baldur's Gate 3 is probably better or something, but I've never played Baldur's Gate 3, so I don't know. So I should probably do that. It's like one of the best games ever, game of the year, all these awards and stuff, and it's like, yeah, someday I'll have time to play that. Yeah, probably 5 years from now when I retire. All right. Okay, so there, I got that question. How do I keep my table intrigued after 6 years or campaigns? Sometimes I feel like my creativity goes cold. Are they not intrigued? Like, do you think your players don't care? I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't try to solve a problem that doesn't exist. You do want to be proactive to a certain extent though too. So you probably don't want to just sit on your haunches, your laurels, and not do anything. But if you can tell your players are all excited and they're having fun and stuff, then there's no problem to be solved. So don't worry about it too much, right? What I do is every 3 months, every quarter, I do a feedback thing with my players, or I'll have a conversation around the game table where I'll just get people's feedback and how much fun are they having, criticisms they have, things that we should start doing, things that they like, things they don't like, and I get feedback from my players. So I have a constant ongoing pulse on whether my players are enjoying themselves or not. And if I ever start to get like feedback that they're not having fun, then I'm immediately gonna be like, okay, well, how can we make it more fun? What are the things that aren't fun? What can we do to make things more fun? And if you get the sense that your players aren't intrigued or they aren't enjoying themselves, then I would have a conversation with them and be like, hey guys, it seems like, you're less interested or whatever, and things aren't quite as fun. So first of all, what are things that we might be doing that are not fun for you that we maybe should stop? And then what are some things that you like that we should double down on? And what are some things that we can try? Get your players' feedback on the game and see, they might give you some ideas and things they'd like to do, and it can be something as simple as you might have one player who's like, you create these amazing adventures and all this kind of stuff, but there's never anything from our backstories, and that would be the one thing that would just make me super happy, you know. And you might get a nugget of awesome advice from your players that could help you change things. But as far as how to keep them intrigued and stuff, I think part of it is coming up with new ideas and fresh ideas, new monsters, maybe new places to go, new things to do. I feel like one of the things that I do from time to time in my campaigns is I shake things up in a big way from time to time. So like they might be doing X thing with this campaign, but then I'll have some sort of almost like world level cataclysmic event type scale thing happen that shakes things up quite a bit, you know, especially if I feel like the campaign is not as fun or interesting as it was before. Then I'll introduce something to shake things up, you know, to increase the stakes, or that sort of thing. So you can always do something like that. And I know I'm not giving you like very specific, like do this, do that, do that, do this other, because a lot of this is just like your own creativity and brainstorming and stuff and getting ideas for doing stuff. So I don't know. I hope that helps a little bit. What are your thoughts on a planned party TPK for story plot and they are revived by a deity? Oh, I would hate that. I would not do that. Unless that were like the campaign pitch. Like this is like the campaign. You guys all died. You were revived by a deity. This is the deal. This is why you brought you back, and now the campaign begins. But just like in the middle of a campaign, if you plan to kill them and then you kill them and then a deity brings them back, like I have a feeling that there's probably a way to execute that and it work, but it would be very tough to nail that. And there's a super strong likelihood that players will feel like, first of all, you just killed them to kill them. They're either going to feel that and be like, this is bullcrap, he just killed us all, you know, and then he brought us back to life with, you know, or they're going to feel like you weren't planning on killing them, but it happened, and now you do ex machina them, and you brought them back with the deity, you know, and then they're going to be like, oh, well, he didn't mean to kill us, and now he saved our bacon by having a deity resurrect us all. So I just feel like there are at least a couple ways right offhand where I can see players not liking that situation and objecting to it, and for good reason. So I don't think that I would do that. That's probably one of the things that I would want players like to be in on, you know. But if you consult with them and get them in on it and agree to it in the middle of a campaign, well, then it's just kind of like lame, because there's no drama and surprise there. There's no suspense because you told them all about it and you got their permission. So that's the type of thing that I would probably reserve for the beginning of a campaign as like the hook of the campaign. Like, oh, you were experienced adventurers and you all died, but you were brought back by this deity for this purpose, and this is the campaign. Go. That's probably where I would reserve that sort of thing. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are running a giveaway tonight, so please feel free to join in the giveaway at the link down in the chat. We are giving away, if you win the giveaway, you will get a 3-month membership to the DM Lair Patreon, where you can get Lair magazine every single month. Like, these are just screenshots of Lair magazine. It's actually, these are old ones. I should update this with some of our newer ones, because our newer layout, our layout guy is really good, and I think our newer issues look really cool. So if you want to win a 3-month membership to the DM Lair Patreon, join the link, giveaway link at the link below. And we're going to draw the winner at the end of the live stream, and we'll get you hooked up. If you're already a patron and you happen to win, then I'll just give you some store credit on the DM Lair store. We'll make sure you get something cool. So anyway, Lair magazine, if you're not aware, we publish this every single month. It has D&D 5th edition and Pathfinder 2 adventures, puzzles, traps, monsters, short adventures, and other cool things in it. So if you're interested, join that giveaway link down below. Also, next week I will be at Gamehole Con. If you are there and you see me, please come up and say hi, and we'll chat and stuff. It'll be cool. I love meeting people when I go to these things, so don't feel like you're bothering me or something. I literally go to these conventions to like meet people and talk to people. Remember what I do every single day. I sit down here in my stupid basement every single day, and like I talk to no one, and I'm just like lonely living in my mom's basement. It's actually my basement, but you know, so I like talking to people. So if you see me, come up and talk, and you won't be bothering me. I promise you, it'll be fun. Conventions are like when I get out into the real world and talk to people. So I'll be there next week and stuff. I might run a pickup game of Shadow Dark on Saturday afternoon. If I do so, I will ping the Discord and probably put a post on my YouTube community tab as well to let people know. It'll basically just be, it'll probably be Saturday afternoon, probably about 1 o'clock, somewhere at Gamehole Con, and whoever shows up, we'll just play. We'll play D&D, whoever shows up. So, and we'll run Shadow Dark. And the great thing about Shadow Dark is I could actually run Shadow Dark for a bigger group, and it would work okay, probably. I wouldn't want to run like D&D 5th edition for a big group, but Shadow Dark, I feel like I could run that for a bigger group. It's just a simpler, streamlined system. All right. And what was the thing? Oh, we are also looking to hire a couple new writers for our publications as well. So if you're interested in writing for us, there's a link to our application down in the chat. Hopefully we'll get that down there. And then you can send in your application. We're mostly gonna be looking at portfolios, so please send in a nice portfolio. If you don't have a writing portfolio, I would make one in the next couple of days so that you can send it to us if you want to be considered, because if you don't have a portfolio, we don't even consider applicants without portfolios. So you need to have a portfolio, which doesn't mean you have to be professionally published. We don't give a flying rat's butt about people who are professionally published. We just need good writers, people who can write and people who have decent game design skills. That's what we're looking for. I don't care if you've been published or not. I just don't care. We've had people that I have seen people, and I've talked with other people in publishing and stuff, and there are people that have been professionally published and who have expensive rates, and they're not good writers, and who knows why they got published, but they were. So I don't give a flying crap if you've been professionally published or not. If you can write and you have good game design skills and you have a portfolio you can show us, that's all I care about. That's all I care about. In fact, if you have been professionally published, I would even prefer to see something that you've written before it went through the editing process, you know, because like, for instance, when our writers turn something into us, it goes through an entire process to get edited and spiced up and, you know, improved and stuff before it gets published. So like their rough draft is like indicative of their ability as a writer, whereas what finally comes out in our published products is indicative of their ability as a writer and our ability to edit and game design review and change things here and there, you know. So anyway, whatever. I can keep talking about this, but it's probably pointless. Just, you know, apply if you want to. There you go. That's easy. Okay, more questions. I run a campaign with a group of OG players that are paranoid, going around every corner. How do I get them not taking so much time for every little thing every 5 feet? So I had a player once. She was one of my youngling players. She was probably, I think she was about 12 or 13 years old. And she was a fighter, and she was terrified of opening doors and terrified of going first. She's like heavily armored, two-handed sword, lots of hit points. And she was a fighter class, and she was terrified. And her friend would go first with the ranger. Her friend was the ranger, squishy, bad armor class, da-da-da-da. But she was fine opening doors, and consequently she got her butt kicked a lot because she went first. So finally, I literally just told the girl, I was like, listen, you're a fighter. It's your job to go first. You have heavy armor on. You have lots of hit points. It's your job to go first. It's your role. Furthermore, this game is designed for you to win most of the time, as long as you don't do something really foolish. So it's okay. Don't be so paranoid about opening doors and going first. 1, you're designed for it. 2, the game is designed for you to win. You know, unless you do something really stupid or the dice go really, really badly against you. That kind of stuff can happen. So I literally just had an out of character conversation with her and just told her what was up. So I would just talk with your players, and I mean, now here's the thing. If you give them good reason to be paranoid, then you can't blame them. Like, if your dungeons are meat grinders and there are traps everywhere and the monsters are brutal and they're getting their butts handed to them and they're constantly dying and it's like, if that's the style of game you're running, then you should expect them to be paranoid. You should expect them to be cautious. You should expect them to go slowly. Because you have curated that expectation. You've designed your game such that if they aren't that way, they're all gonna die. And they know that, so they're being careful. So the caveat here, the asterisk, is that if you run your game that way, then your players are responding like they should respond. And if you don't want them to respond that way, well, it's your own fault they're doing that, and then you should change the way you're running your games. Right now, I'm going to assume, because you're asking this, that you're not running your games like a meat grinder, super deadly and stuff like that. So that said, if you're not running it that way, just tell them, hey guys, I'm not running a crazy deadly meat grinder. Okay? You don't have to be paranoid about every single 5-foot square, tapping with a pole, tapping the ceiling and doing all this stuff. That's not the type of game I'm running. Like, try to set expectations with them and just let them know, hey, this is the type of game I'm running. Like, there are going to be some traps, but they're probably going to be in logical places, you know? There might be some little bit of foreshadowing about traps or something, or I don't know. And you can just say, hey, look at, you know, occasionally there might be a monster that's too powerful for you to overcome, but most of them are going to be in your pay grade. They're going to, you know, that's the type of game I'm running. So just tell them what your game is like and what they should expect. And then if they understand that you're not running a super deadly, crazy meat grinder game, well, then they're probably going to feel a little bit more relaxed and less paranoid. Unless you are, in which case they're reacting appropriately. So I would just talk with them and have that conversation. That's probably the easiest way to go about it. I had my friend Joe. So my friend Joe did this thing. He was telling me about this a while ago. He would run games, and he might still run games this way. But he plays in my Pathfinder 2 game, by the way. He would have, for at least one of his groups that he was telling me about, he would have deadly areas in his dungeons. Like, the majority of the dungeon was a normal dungeon where it's gonna be a little challenging, but you're probably not gonna die. You're gonna be okay. But then what he did is he had deadly areas that would literally have a warning sign marking it as a deadly area. And the players would know that that is the deadly area. Super challenging, super hard, but lots of reward. And they knew that they could either go there or not go there. They didn't have to. It was an optional area. They could skip it or not, right? And so sometimes they would just be like, oh yeah, we're ready to go. Let's do this. And other times they wouldn't, because like, no, we're all beat up and let's just pass on that, you know? So if this is like a insurmountable thing with your players, you could do something like that where you're just like, look at you guys, let's do this. For most of the game, it's just gonna kind of be like, you know, chill, don't worry, you're gonna be fine. But every so often there's gonna be a deadly area, and that's where you can be super cautious, and we can have, I don't know, you could do something like that if you wanted to. I don't know, there are probably different ways to skin the cat. Right, Squeaky? That is a bad metaphor. Okay. Yeah, you don't like that metaphor? No. Okay. All right. Well, you can file a complaint with HR, because HR is there for you. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Okay. All right. Move along. Move it along. Would you ever consider making physical versions of either Lair magazine or the map bundles? I know they are expensive, but would be pretty cool. Well, you know, now that you mention it. these right here are physical versions of Lair magazine. These are the first year of Lair magazine. It takes 2 books. That's how much content there is. Lairs and Legends is the one book. It has adventures and monsters in it, and then Loot and Lore is the other book. This is literally Lairs and magazine. Lair magazine, the first year, 2022, I believe it was. That sounds about right. All compiled for you right here. And these are available. Lairs and Legends is available on the DM Lair store. So if you want the physical issues of Lair magazine, you can go buy them on the store. Our last Kickstarter, Lairs and Legends 2, was the next year, year 2's compilation from Lair magazine. So yes, we do put Lair magazine in physical form, but it happens yearly or every other year or so as a Kickstarter, because it is incredibly expensive to get artwork and get layout and do all this stuff and print runs and stuff like that. It's not cheap. So we do this. We do the Kickstarters to be able to put Lair magazine in printed form, but this is available on the DM Lair store, and you can pre-order. You can still pre-order Lairs and Legends 2. Not for much longer though, because we're about to put in the order to our printer, so you won't be able to pre-order Lairs and Legends 2 for much longer. And then what was it? The maps? No, we can't do maps. We actually looked. We were actually thinking about doing physical maps. You know, like maps, physical maps. You know, you've seen the ones where there's like a spiral bound book and a big map, and it folds out like this. It's actually like 2 scales. You can put your minis and stuff on it. These big books. Like I have a few myself, and we were considering creating some of those, and then we found out how expensive they are to make and how heavy they are. So shipping costs would be very high. So we investigated that, and then we saw the costs involved, and we were like, no, we're not going to do that. Now other people do it, and that's fair. But that is not the business. That's not the product that we decided to go with for reasons I just stated. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Agile Monkey, you're totally right. HR is there for the company. It's not for the employees. That's 100% correct. Unless you truly have a people-focused HR department. Yeah, I don't know how many of those there are. Oh, I was gonna show you. So Lairs and Legends 2. Who backed Lairs and Legends 2? Are there any Lairs and Legends 2 backers here? I have something I'm gonna show you. You're gonna like this. I think you're gonna like this. Where is this sucker? I'm gonna show you something. Where is this? There's that, and this right here, and then open that up. All right, put this on the other screen. All right, so Lairs and Legends 2, I mentioned that we're about ready to get things going with our printer. We're about to send them the PDFs for them to like review and stuff. So our layout is almost totally done. Lairs and Legends, the first book, Lairs and Legends 2, that layout is, I think it's done at this point. If it's not done, there's like a couple things that remain. I'm not sure if you finished them yet. But anyway, I'll show you the layout. It looks spectacular. Hold on a second. Oh, I need to change this. So edit, view, page display. There we go. Okay. So this is Lairs and Legends 2, and this is the interior layout and design. So I got table of contents and stuff, but so this is the interior layout of it. It looks awesome. I love how like Lairs and Legends look cool, but then Lairs and Legends 2, the interior layout and design looks snazzy. It looks super sweet. Full page artwork. It's really cool. So this is like the interior. This is a really good one. This artwork here is really cool. I like that one. And then we had a guy. One of our artists he did a lot of our busts like this. He was just really good at the busts. Super spectacular. Then some more awesome, beautiful artwork. This bust right here was really cool. This one, I kind of covered up by my face, but this one right here is really sweet. So anyway, the interior layout and design is mostly done for this one. I think there was a couple things left to go. And then, oh, this is a cool one too. This full page, oh, that looks super sweet. Love that. So anyway, so yeah, we're hoping to be able to send out the PDF to everybody who backed Layers and Legends too. We're hoping to be able to send out the PDF this month. We should be able to get you the PDFs this month. I know we had said we're not going to give them until like next year or something when we fulfill everything, but you know, I'm gonna do it a little early because yes. So anyway, super spectacular progress on that. Right so far, we are on track to deliver on our timeline that we had promised our Kickstarter backers as well. So that's always cool. Are there any options that ship from Canada? Yeah, we ship to Canada. Absolutely. If you go to our, we ship to Canada off from our store, from our Kickstarters. Absolutely, we ship to Canada. Yeah, it's sometimes not cheap. Depends, because for whatever reason, shipping stuff to Canada is crazy expensive. This is one of those things that, like, I don't know, man. People get upset at our shipping prices sometimes, but like we have no control over shipping costs at all. And then other people get upset over VAT taxes. Like, why do I gotta pay 20% taxes on books and stuff? And I'm just like, you should be talking to your represented legislators, like the people in your government. You should be talking to them. Ask them why you have to pay 20% VAT taxes. Like, we have no control over that. But people get upset over these things. It's like, these are things we have no control over, guys. It's like, you elected these people and they put crazy taxes on you. Like, talk to them. Why are you yelling at me? You know, I don't control shipping prices. Go yell at UPS. I can't control this stuff, guys. So anyway, sometimes the prices are expensive for shipping and stuff, but we ship pretty much everywhere. In fact, we now have, so from the DM Lair store, we are now able to ship almost anywhere in the world as well. We have recently gotten a little, I don't want to, the logistics and details don't matter. The point is that we can now ship pretty much anywhere in the world from the DM Lair store. So it used to be we could only ship to the US and Canada because it was just too expensive and complicated to go elsewhere in the world. But we now are able to ship almost anywhere in the world through UPS and DHL. So you can get tons of crap now, no matter where you live. So it's cool. All right. And Fleming says, take my money. Hey, if you send me money, I will take it. I'll probably give you a cool product in exchange, but yeah. Adobe InDesign, yes, we use Adobe InDesign. I mean, I don't. The guy that we pay uses Adobe InDesign, but yes. Killer Kitty, thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Is there a favorite game or one shot that you like to run for Halloween? I don't do holiday games. Like, I just don't. I've never done holiday games or special things for Christmas or Halloween or anything. I just run my normal games. So no, I've just never done that sort of thing. I don't know. It's never appealed to me. It's like I'm running a normal campaign. I don't interrupt my campaign to run some special one shot for Halloween. Like, I just don't. It doesn't interest me. I don't know. I've never thought about that. But I mean, I have fun running my normal campaign, so I don't know. No, I've never done that. So my answer is no. Sorry. Zach says, folks, if you're applying to write, please include a portfolio and make it accessible for me. So far, over half of applicants are getting tossed because of no or inaccessible portfolios. Really? So we literally just created the post like a few hours ago about hiring for writers, and everywhere that I have, and this happens every time we do this, but everywhere that I tell people that we're hiring writers, I will always say that your portfolio is the most important thing, and then we get people that don't have portfolios. Like, what do they think is going to happen? Yes, no matter how good of a writer you are, if you don't send samples of your writing, we will never know. Yeah, it's just, we can't, it doesn't matter if you went to school for writing. I don't care. I don't care if you have a master's degree in writing. If you don't have a portfolio, you're not getting considered. I don't give a flying crap. I don't care who you worked for. I don't care what job experience you have. I don't care. I care about what you can do. And I can only know what you can do if you send me a portfolio. That's just the way it is. A normal campaign can have the Hags and Zombies session scheduled near Halloween. You can't tell how quickly your players are going to go through a game. You can't. I don't know how quick. I don't even know if my players are going to go to a certain place in any given game session. Sometimes my players will tell me they're going to go over here, but then they change their minds and they decide to go over here. Like, I can't plan for that. I'm not going to try. I have literally, so I have for my Pathfinder 2 game, there is the main campaign. I have an adventure that I created, I crap you not, about a year ago, because I thought they were going to go there soon. And only now are they deciding to go to that place. Now, in all fairness, I am mostly responsible for that because I give out lots of different plot hooks, and they decided to bite one of my plot hooks and go do a thing that ended up taking them 3 or 4 months of gameplay to get through. So I'm not blaming my players. It's I accept like 90% of the responsibility, if not more. But the point is that I can't predict where they're going to go and if they're going to go, which plot hook they're going to grab. And I can't predict how long it's going to take them to get through this adventure over here, right? I just can't predict those things. And so, yeah, I'm not going to try to predict those things. What is the best way to deal with an interrupting player as a game master? Well, you can do two things. I could tell you what I would do, and I can tell you what I would fantasize about doing. So if I have a player that's interrupting, I'm about to do this with my players in my Pathfinder 2 game. I have a player in my Pathfinder 2 game who I will be talking and I'll be explaining something to the group, and he will just have little interjections and side conversations with other players. And every time he does this, I look over and I can see him doing it, and I can see the other player is like mildly annoyed because they're trying to pay attention to me and this guy's like interrupting them or something. So I'm about to say something. The next time, it happens a couple times in a session, I'm going to say something. But anyway, the way that I usually handle these things is I just stop the game and directly address the issue. I'll be like, so like you have a guy who's interrupting a lot. I'll be like, hey John, dude, you know you're interrupting people a lot in this game, and it's really causing some issues here. Like I'll be talking, or the other players will be talking, and you're interrupting them a lot. You're interrupting a lot, and that causes a problem because one, you know, it comes off as a little disrespectful because you're not letting people finish what they're saying, you know, and yeah, so like, yeah, can you not interrupt people? But I think it's important to be direct, call attention to the thing that's happening that's undesirable, explain why it's undesirable, what problem it's causing, right? And it can't be something like stupid, like you can't be like, well, you know, I don't like it when people interrupt. Like, who cares what you like or don't like? There has to be like a reason that interrupting is bad. Like you have to define why it's bad, why it actually causes a problem. I don't care if you like it or you don't like it. Nobody cares what your personal preferences are. There has to be the cause of the reason it's a problem has to be greater than your personal preferences, because everybody has personal preferences. So like, but obviously interrupting is not a personal preference thing. Interrupting is just, it's rude, it's disruptive, it stops gameplay, you know, and whatnot, and the person is impatient, they're not waiting their turn, you know, they're cutting people off. That's going to frustrate them. It's going to get people upset because they won't let them finish. Interrupting people and causing that causes a whole bunch of problems that you can you know, verbalize with them. And then so you explain what the problem is, you explain why it's a problem, and then usually you if it makes sense, you allow them a moment to like just explain maybe what's going on and why they're doing it. In this case, that probably doesn't make sense, you know. It's just a problem behavior. And so the fourth thing is that you ask them to stop the behavior, you know. Stop interrupting people. Wait your turn. Wait till people are done. Now the thing is that and the larger the group you have, the more this can happen, is that people will just keep talking back and forth and back and forth. And sometimes there are players who can't get a word in because people don't stop talking. And then they might start interrupting. And I think in that situation, it doesn't necessarily excuse it, but they're struggling to be heard and they can't play the game basically because everybody else is always talking. And I think that's where it falls upon the game master to make sure that that everybody has an opportunity to talk and do things in the game. But it's one of the reasons that when I run games online, I require people to have a camera. And one of the reasons I require a camera is so that I can see people's faces and I can see when people want to say something, and people can literally make a gesture to let me know that they want to say something, and then I can call on them. It's amazing. It's amazing what you can, how much better you can run a game when you can see people's faces and body language, and when they're able to, like this motor mouth over here might never shut up, but if this person wants to say something, they can just like gesture at me, and I'll be like, hey, John. Hold on a second. All right, Samantha, what do you got to say? You know what I mean? So like, that's one reason I require cameras in my online games, because I can't run a game if I can't see people's faces. It chops my legs off underneath me if I can't see people's faces. I cannot manage a game without seeing people's faces. And the games are so much better when you can see people's faces. Holy crap, they're so much better. Like, one of the things that online games lack is this personal connection, this camaraderie, this feeling of just being among people, friends, and having fun. There's this palpable feeling when you're in person playing, and online play lacks that. If you have a camera on, it's better. You take the camera away and it's just like, oh wow, it's so impersonal and flat and bleh. So the cameras really help. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going on an unnecessary tangent possibly about the importance of cameras in online games. But I love being able to see people's faces. I don't care if you're butt ugly, you know, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I just want to see, I want to have a human connection here where I can see people's faces, you know? I mean, I'm not particularly handsome, so who am I to criticize you? All right. Yes, you can, online play, you can mute people. I have this one player in one of my online games. He frequently will just, like, stand up and start having a conversation, or he'll be like, I don't know, I have to mute him from time to time because there's like, I don't know, it's weird. I'll just be like, oh, he's having one of those yelling conversations with his wife or something, or whoever, I don't know. There, you just mute. That's taken care of. Yeah. All right. Did we have some more gifted memberships I missed? All right, I'm gonna look for some more questions up here. I'm gonna scroll up for questions. If you have questions, please leave them in the chat. If you posted a question and I missed it, feel free to repost it, and then I will get to it. Actually, while you're posting your questions or reposting a question that I missed, I will advertise our giveaway, which we have going on, ladies and gentlemen. There's a link down in the chat where you can join our giveaway. We're going to draw the winner of the giveaway at the end of the live stream. You can win 3 months membership to the DM Lair Patreon. And DM Lair patrons receive every single month a new issue of Lair Magazine. And Lair Magazine has whole bunches of cool stuff you can use in your games. It has, for both D&D 5th edition and Pathfinder 2, adventures, monsters, traps, puzzles, We do short adventures as well. There are maps obviously included with it. So there's tons of stuff that our patrons get every single month to use in their games. So if you win the giveaway, you will get a 3-month membership, which is essentially 3 issues of Lair magazine. And if you're already a patron, that's okay. Join the giveaway anyway, because I will give you like store credit on the DM Lair store if you're already a patron. And there you go. And you can, I mean, you don't have to win the giveaway to become a patron. Obviously, you can go over to our Patreon page and become a patron too. Like, it's one of the best ways to support our content. Like, if you've been binging on our videos, or you're enjoying what we do and you just want to support us and our videos and helping other people, helping game masters run cool games and stuff like that, you can become a patron and just support us too. And you'll get Lair magazine and other cool stuff as well. So feel free to do that if you feel so inclined. And then next week, I'm going to be at Gamehole Con, ladies and gentlemen. So if you see me, please come up and say hi. I'll be running a game. I'm running a game of Shadow Dark. It's full already. And then I'm probably going to do a pickup game of Shadow Dark, I think on Saturday afternoon, more than likely. But what I'll do is I'll just ping my Discord, and then I'll probably do a post on my community tab and on my YouTube channel. And then I'll just say, hey, we're going to run Shadow Dark. Show up here if you want to play, and then whoever shows up will kind of play. But Shadow Dark is really, it's if you've ever played before, it's very easy to pick up. If you've played D&D or any sort of TTRPG before, it'll be very intuitive. It'll feel like it's super easy, and I'll explain how it's done, so don't worry about it. I'll have pre-gens for everybody too that you can play, so it's cool. Oh yeah, I need to feed the cats. Okay, the last thing is that we're trying to hire a couple new writers for our publications like Lair magazine and stuff like that. So if you are interested in writing for us, there is a link down in the chat where you can apply. Very important to note that you must send us a portfolio. If you don't send us a portfolio, you immediately go to the no pile, because we can't tell if you can write worth a spit unless you send us a portfolio. That's the only way we know. You can have like a PhD in writing, and I don't care. I want to see a portfolio. All I care about is samples of your writing. All right, let's give our cats some snacks, shall we? This. Oh, there. Cat snacks. Actually, this bag's almost gone, so I think I'm gonna break into this bad boy. Hey, I got 4 cats. I got 4 customers today. Is anybody else's cats coming? I've had people who, when I did this, they had their cats running because they thought they were getting treats. Uh-oh, I just scared one of my cats away. Little guy. Little guy. I think he got scared from the noise. Little guy. All right. I'm gonna fill my coffee up. You watch the kitties. got one cat eating everything. What are the other ones just supervising? All right. Let's see. I'm about to run it in my first session of D&D, and I don't know how to start it or how to describe the city or journey. Do you have any checklists to what to talk about? How to set up the atmosphere? I don't have a checklist. I usually just wing that sort of thing. Let me go back to my camera here. Here we go. I don't know. I'm like struggling to how to respond to you because that's something that I just kind of just do, and I've never had to analyze how I do it. I just describe the place. Like I'm gonna be forthright and admit that right now my answer to your question is probably gonna suck. But I just describe whatever needs to be described. Like, if the beginning of the campaign is them being in a city, then I'm just going to describe the city a little bit. Give them some basic information about the city. Like, I might give them a handout of a map of the city, maybe, if it's reasonable for them to have an idea of the layout of the city. I might give them like a little gazette type thing that gives them an overview of city services or something. And then I'll give like a narrative description. I'll just talk about certain parts of the city they might need to know or something. But I don't even know that that's the strongest way to start a campaign. I might just want to start it with like action or something. And if you're gonna start it, if you're like doing a one shot or something and you're have them start in a dungeon, then you just describe the dungeon. So I don't know, and I don't think there's any right way to start a campaign. Like, everybody kind of does it differently too. You know, like some people just start in a tavern, and some people hate starting in a tavern, even though there are lots of good reasons to start in a tavern. So I don't think there's any right or wrong way to do it. I would not do too much like expository lore dumps, like telling them everything there is to know about the city or location, or everything about the local area, or everything about the history and lore. Like, I would avoid that for sure. I think give them a little bit of information that might be helpful, but mostly get into the game and playing the game and running the game. And then setting the atmosphere is just a question of describing the atmosphere and describing what the place is like. Like, if you're trying to do horror, or if it's mystery, or if it's just like high fantasy type of thing. That just comes down to your verbal descriptions of things, how you set the atmosphere. Although music can help a lot. Music can help. So pick out some nice playlists and stuff. What I use is something called Tabletop Audio. It has some very, very nice songs on it that you can use for your D&D games. So I don't know. There are some thoughts, but I think my answer probably just sucks. Here's the thing. Starting your campaign is not the most important thing in the world, because you're only going to spend like 0.01% of your game time starting your campaign. Everything else is playing the campaign. So yes, you don't, if you start it horribly, then maybe your players leave or something, I guess. But I would not worry too much about having the perfect start to your campaign or anything like that. I would just get going and then get to the meat of your first adventure as quickly as possible. Like, get to the exciting stuff. I don't think anybody cares about like how the campaign starts, or if it's super cool, or it's like, are they having fun is the question. Are they doing something interesting? And most of the game is most of the interesting parts of the game are like when you're actually playing the game and you're in the meat of it. So I think I would try to get the beginning stuff over as quickly as possible and start playing the game. Now, if you need to do like character creation and stuff, you know, that's stuff you got to do beforehand on your first game session and stuff. But like, I think I would just try to get to playing the game as quickly as possible and get all the get the fluffy bullcrap out of the way so you can just play the game and have fun. I think is probably the advice I'm boiling down to. Start with burning the tavern. That would be a cool. Well, you were all on your way to meet at a tavern, and you get there and it's on fire. What do you do? Crap! You burn the tavern down. That'd be a good way to start a campaign. I'm down for that. I bought Shadow Dark a while back and would like to find a group to play in or DM for. Well, if you go over on the DM Lair Discord, we have a looking for group channel that you can post a group that you're wanting to run, or you can see if there's other groups that are looking for players. That's one thing you can do. You can also just go over to start playing. Like this is, like if you want to play in a game and you have a little bit of money, this is something you can do too. I'll just show you how this works. So let's go up here, start playing. So go to start playing. It's startplaying.games is the full address here. And you can literally just find games. So like I wanted to play a game of Shadow Dark, and so I went here and I just typed in Shadow Dark. And then actually the best way to do this, I think, is to go over to, isn't there a system? I think there's a system. Maybe it's game. There we go. Yeah, Shadow Dark. That's the way to do it. Just type in that. This is probably a better way to do it. There you go. And then here's a whole bunch of Shadow Dark campaigns coming up, you know, and you can just pick one to play in. Who was it? I wonder if the game master that I ran, I played in a game. Where is he? His name was Russell. I wonder if he has a game up, because his game was pretty cool. Okay, right here. I would recommend this. This guy right here is pretty cool. This game master, Rusty Blacksmith. He's a good game master. So I feel very confident recommending his game. So if you go check him out, if you're looking to get in a Shadow Dark campaign, he's a cool guy. I played in a couple of sessions with him, and he's a good guy. So you can check his stuff out. And then, but yeah, you can just go through here and, you know, find some people to play with. And there's a whole bunch of games. A lot of these games, it'll tell you how much they cost, like $25 per session. This one's free right here. This one's free. Look at that. This one's $17. This one's $22. Mine is here somewhere, except that it's full. Mine is full, so you can't join mine. I don't even know where. I don't know if it's showing up here. It probably doesn't because it's already full. Because I am running one. I'm running a paid game too, but it's full. Actually, this Sunday is our first game session, so that's gonna be fun. So you might be able to find some free ones, but I will tell you something. Sometimes you get what you pay for. So if you can find a game master who is really good, but they're kind of a little expensive, yeah, well, you know, sometimes you get what you pay for. And this free game might be awesome. It might not. Who knows? Who knows? So, oh, the other cool thing too is like if we go in here, like let's take a look at this person here. So this person, Megan, you can see they have reviews. You can read people's reviews about them as a game master to see what they're like and whatnot. So, and they'll give like a bio and stuff about their game. I don't have any reviews on mine. Hold on, where am I? Find GMs. Search by name. I wonder. No game masters available. What do you mean? How are there no game masters available? That's my name. Luke. It must be Luke. Let's try one called Luke. Luke O. There's a lot of Lukes. Wow. Where is... I can't find myself. That's what I'm called, though. Luke, the DM Lair. I don't know. I can't even find myself. Anyway, if you're looking for a game, go to Start Playing. It's a good place to find a game. It's good. I'm running right now. I'm running a one shot for Shadow Dark on Start Playing, and then it's probably gonna last 2 or 3 game sessions, and then after that, I might run another one shot. My long-term goal is probably to start a Shadow Dark campaign through Start Playing, but first I'm running some one shots. And one of the reasons I'm running the one shots first is I want to see if I can handle the time commitment. Because it's one thing to like think you have time to do it, and then there's another thing to actually do it and be like, yeah, I do have time, or no, I don't have time. I think I do have time. But anyway, if you're looking for games, this is a good place to find some games. There's always something out there. And when we were just looking at the Shadow Dark games, imagine if you wanted to play something like D&D 5th edition, which it's just got a larger player base and stuff, then you're probably gonna have tons of games available that you can join if you'd like. So anyway, I recommend Start Playing. I know the guy who, Devin is the guy, he and somebody else I think are the 2 guys that own that, but he is a super awesome guy, amazingly awesome guy. And he's created an amazing site here. So anyway, I recommend it in part because of the service it offers is very valuable, but also in part because I know the guy behind it and he's super cool. So I just, I like helping people that are cool people, What is the best horror game system to play aside from VTM? What's VTM? I don't know what that is, but Call of Cthulhu, I love Call of Cthulhu. It is spectacular. I have the Call of Cthulhu starter set on my bookshelf back there, and I've got to open that. It's still got the shrink wrap on it. I bought it at Gen Con, and it still has the shrink wrap on it. I need to open that and start reading it. The problem is that once I start reading it, I'm probably going to want to run a game, which means I'm going to have to make time to run a game. So it's kind of because what happened with Shadow Dark is I started reading the book and I was like, this is really cool. I want to run a Shadow Dark game. And here I am. And so I know that if I open up the Call of Cthulhu book and start reading it, I'm probably going to want to run a game in it. And then I got to find time to do that. So it's still in the shrink wrap. But I've played Call of Cthulhu before at conventions and it's super fun. I love it. Oh yeah, whoever was talking about running a game, you can become a game master on Start Playing too. It's super easy to get set up over there to become a game master, and then you can start running games. In fact, you might run, they have the review system and stuff where people will review you and stuff. It might be, if you wanted to start as a game master on Start Playing, it might be a good idea to run either free games or maybe $5 games, just so that you'll get players more easily, and then they'll leave reviews, and then you can start to have a little bit of a profile so that people will be like, oh, this guy has these reviews and he sounds pretty cool. Okay, cool. I'll go play in his games. I didn't do that. I just was I charge $50 a session for my games, and which is twice as much as anybody else on their charges. But I'm a little bit of a unique case, so don't do what I do. It's probably not going to work too well. But if you wanted to get going, I would start running a cheap or free to get a little bit of a profile, get some reviews, and then you can bump it up too. I think it looks like to me the most people charge for a session is about $20-25 or so. So yeah, but anyway, you could definitely start playing over there, running games over there. That's definitely a way to go. It's really easy to get set up. Oh, Feth says Call of Cthulhu sessions and campaigns are meant to be much shorter than your average TTRPG campaign. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Is it because you just die quickly? Or you go insane, you lose your... I've never tried Fabula Ultima. No, I haven't. Is there a site where you can find players in your area? So the best success I've had at finding people locally to play has been two ways of doing this. Over on Reddit, there is a subreddit called LFG. It's the LFG subreddit. I've had really good success over there. This was years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. But I found local players very quickly over on the LFG subreddit. And they were all normal, regular people too. They weren't crazies or anything. I know Reddit has a rightly deserved reputation of being a very, like, unfriendly, toxic place where people are just tend to treat other people like trash a lot. But all the players I got off from the LFG subreddit were actually normal people, so I didn't have a problem with it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's part of the culture of being. I think what happens is there are some places where the culture is such a way. So like if there's a place like Reddit where most people are just like mean and treat each other like crap, then normal people see that that's the way everybody behaves and it can influence them to be that way, I guess. I don't know, man. But then of course there are other LFGs, or I'm sorry, there are other subreddits where people are normal and aren't mean and stuff. Maybe people were just mean to me. Maybe they just hurt me. Maybe I should get my doll out and show you all where they hurt me. I don't know. Maybe it's just my bad experience. So, but anyway, I would check out there. The other place that I've had success getting local players is putting up posters at game shops. I'll just put up like I'm running a Shadow Dark game, and here's my email address. If you want to play, send me an email and blah. And then yeah, so posters at game shops have been very successful for me as well. Yeah, I don't go on Reddit a whole lot either, but I will use a tool if it gets me what I want. So yeah, I don't go on Reddit much, but if it gets me what I want and I need to do it for a particular purpose, I will do it, because my goal is to achieve success in whatever thing I want to achieve success in. And the tools I use, who cares what the tools are? As long as I get what I'm looking for, that's what really matters, right? Monk says, Luke, you can also have people do external reviews of games you have run outside of Start Playing site. They just have to register, but then they can leave a review of the games you have run prior to Start Playing. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's cool. Vernon says, I find it difficult to scare players in 5th edition. With 5.5e, it's now impossible. Why, Vernon? Can you expand upon that a little bit? Like, what about the new version of D&D 5th edition, like the 2024 version, makes it harder to scare players? Like, what are you seeing? What are you observing? Because I don't own the book. I don't own the book. I keep telling myself that I should order it so that I can at least have it and talk about it. But I don't even want the book. I'm never going to use the book. I don't want to play D&D 5th edition 2024. I don't want to have anything to do with it. So I like just never buy the thing. But I know I need to. Eventually I'm going to have to buy the stupid thing. In part because we publish products. We publish D&D 5th edition products, and at some point we'll have to think about whether we shift Lair magazine over to 2024 or whether we stay at 2014. I have a feeling we're probably going to stay 2014. That's just my feeling. I don't know. Because, at some point you're going to have to ask yourself, are you going to be compatible, so to speak, with 2024? Or are you just going to say, no, it's 2014? But I don't know how many big changes there were. That's part of the reason we'd have to have the book, so that we could analyze them and see what changes were there or whatever. sure, it's a tax write-off, but it's also like $100 for the books, so it's not a big deal. The business absorbs that pretty easily. To me, it's so Vernon says mainly it's the power levels. To me, there is a jump in low level power for players now. Yep. I mean, that's sure. That's Vernon says I will use a tool. Hey, phrasing. Oh man, I'm good at that stuff. Yeah, I think that's probably very intentional because they want people to buy the new books. So they 100% guarantee you they intentionally made things more powerful in the 2024 book. That's intentional. If that's what you're seeing, I would bet my next paycheck that is by design. That is a feature, not a bug, 100%, because they want people to see that the new options are more powerful. Therefore, they'll go buy the new stuff. They know power sells. They look at Magic the Gathering, look at the other books they published for D&D 5th edition. They know power sells. It works. It gets people to buy the books. So they're going to keep doing it. Cranky Smurf says, in my opinion, 5.5e PHB has barely any substantial differences. It takes away a lot of broken mechanics from 5e. What does? There's lots of things broken in the new books that came out. They're already making videos on them. You can already go out on YouTube and watch video after video about things that are broken in the new editions that have come out. They didn't really playtest them. Not like they should have. But that's not. Their goal is to sell books, not to make the world's best game system. Backgrounds give you free feats. That's the only thing worth using. It's just a power jump. This is a power creep. And that's exactly why people are gonna like it, because it gives you more power. Oh, we get a free feat. Okay, yeah, sign me up. Yep. Most DMs give you free feats at level 1 anyway. I don't. No stinking way. Feth says the new edition makes the player characters much more powerful. So much so that DMs have much more work to do. Unless they fix this in the new DMG, I don't see myself running D&D anymore. Yeah, that's interesting. When the new I want to get my hands on the Dungeon Master Guide, the new Dungeon Master Guide they're going to publish, because I really want to see if they fix any of this broken, the challenge rating system, if they scale monsters to be more challenging because the players all got additional power. I really want to see how this all plays out. I'm super interested in this. Because if we're hearing the players, their characters are now more powerful with the new edition that came out, but they don't change the challenge rating system at all. Monsters don't scale and stuff, and characters just got more and more powerful. Yeah, it just makes it harder to be a game master. I mean, I don't know. I think people should play different games anyway, unless they're really having fun with D&D 5th edition. Like, if you're enjoying it, having fun, that's great. But I think it's always a good idea to try different game systems and see if there's one that maybe you like more. And you also get to support other companies, independent designers and stuff like that, instead of big corporations that, they don't always do good things for our world. So you don't have to give them money. Cranky Smurf says, my 2.5 year campaign is sticking with 2014 rules. Mostly the subclasses level features have changed. Everyone gets their subclass at level 3 now. Huh. How does a cleric get their subclass at a different level now? Because they have to pick their deity at level 1, right? I wonder how that works. I wonder how they finagled that. Vernon says they have done a lot to power up players and give them toys, but don't do much of anything for DMs. Well, we don't know what they're going to do for DMs quite yet because we don't have the DMG and we don't have the monster manual. So until we have those, it's hard to know if they've really done anything for game masters. Power creep can only sustain an edition for so long. It's not sustainable. You're right, which is why they came out with 2024. It wasn't to commemorate the 50th anniversary of D&D. It's to make money off books. That's what it was for. Where was I? The UA playtest was way too short. Well, the UA playtest wasn't really a playtest. That wasn't a playtest. That was mostly marketing. I think those playtests were mostly how would I say this? It wasn't a playtest. The UA playtests, as they dubbed them, were mostly it was a way to gauge the response of potential customers. So if you put out a playtest packet and people's responses are overwhelmingly positive and they're like, yes, this is awesome, we love this, we love this, we love this, then you're like, okay, we're on the right track. That sounds like we're gonna sell some books with that. If you put out a playtest and the response is, oh, we hate this design. You did this to the paladin and we hate it. Why did you do this to the paladin? Ah, vitriol, hatred, etc. Then you're like, whoa, people don't like that change. Okay, that's gonna hurt book sales. So we better change that to something people are gonna like, right? So, okay, let's change that, And so, in my opinion, the UA playtests were mostly to get people's feedback on whether they liked stuff or not, to inform design, because ultimately their goal is to sell books. Like, yeah, they're trying to design a game and stuff, but the real goal is to sell books and make money. And you can't do that if people don't like your product. So when you can release playtests and get people's feedback on whether they like it or not, that is super valuable, because then you can make sure that you include the options and all the different things that people really liked, because then they're going to be more inclined to buy your book, right? So that's super valuable. Now, if they really wanted to playtest it, like a real playtest, what you need to do is you have to release the news. In my opinion, you need a whole, like a whole scale playtest, and there's probably a word for this, but you need to have the entire game system in its totality released to a group of people who then playtest it for an extended period of time, say 3 months, playing every single week, maybe multiple times a week, right? And then they give you a bunch of feedback about, oh, hey, you broke Spirit Guardians. Spirit Guardians is now totally broken, because the cleric can just deal hundreds of points of damage per round if you do this, this, and this. And they're like, oh yeah, we did break Spirit Guardians. Spirit Guardians was already an amazing spell, and we changed the wording, and now it's super powerful. Whoopsies, right? So if you get that total playtesting and they get a bunch of feedback, then they can make changes, right? To the whole game system, the whole system. And they give it to people, a bunch of people, who then playtest the updated stuff for a few months. Extensively, intensively, and they're like, well, okay, these things, this spell, that spell, these unintended consequences, this stuff works, and this is broken, and da 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 da, and then they're like, oh, make some changes, and then you give it to everybody again. Like, I don't see, you can't really do good playtesting, in my opinion, unless you do something like that, where you're testing the entire game system, and then you're updating, and then you're testing it in, and you have iterations on that, right? You can't just release well, here's an update to the Bard class, play test that in isolation from all the other changes, and then you release changes to this, that, and the other. That doesn't really work for it. I think that is an important part of initial play testing, but at some point you have to bring everything together and test it together. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in software development, can you imagine imagine you're designing, I'm going to make this as simple as a metaphor as possible, I guess, but imagine you're designing a software system that does X thing, and you have 10 development teams that all develop their little parts of it, and then all of their individual parts work, right, as black boxes. They all work, and then you put them all together, and you don't test them together. You just release it to the public. Like, why would it, like, yes, develop all of your little modules separately as black boxes, get them to work, but then let's put them all together, and let's test them together to make sure they all work properly and send the right parameters and have outputs and do the things that are correct. You have to test them all together. If you don't, it's just something's not going to work properly somewhere. You know what I mean? So you gotta test it together. You can't just develop all these separate little parts of it in isolation and think that when you put them together, they're all just gonna work. They won't. The things will be broken somewhere. They have to. It just can't work. Exactly. The Geek Life knows what I'm talking about. You have unit tests and you have functional tests. Yeah. You like unit testing and all that kind of, yeah, you're right, exactly. And then you put it all together too. Like when we were doing software development, you'd have your development teams doing their thing, but there was always they had an entire environment. They called it the QA environment, where the entire purpose of the QA environment. We had like multiple systems doing different things, right? And if you were making an update to this system, you would make your updates and you'd put it into the QA environment and it had all the other systems going on. And then you do your positive testing, negative testing, your borders and all, you do all this kind of different crap, and I wasn't really involved in all that stuff. That wasn't like my job. So, but they would just do extensive testing for all these things to make sure it all worked together. That's real testing. Oh, the 2000. So Dicequake says the 2024 market research. Yeah, Goliath Cleric. That's the right term for it. It was market research. Exactly. The 2024 Cleric. I'd characterize it as being a novice for 2 levels, learning the ropes, then picking your specialty at level 3 in terms of your domain. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Feth the Exorcist says it was a showcase, not a playtest. Yeah, that's a good way to say it too. Mm-hmm. The Paladin nerf was a very good change. Oh, I'm not familiar with what they did to Paladins. I really don't know what they did to any of the classes. I don't have the book. So, I just don't know. The D&D Next playtest for 5th edition was from 2012 to 2014, and they playtested everything. They spent 2 years. Oh, interesting. I'm not familiar with what they did for that, but thank you. Then the 5.5e UA was mostly player handbook with a couple of things from the DMG and nothing from the Monster Manual. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't do end-to-end testing is what they didn't do for their update. That's what they didn't do at all. I suspect there will be erratas soon for the Monster Manual after it's released. Oh, there should be erratas very quickly for a lot of stuff. And game masters are gonna have to house rule stuff immediately on a bunch of stuff that's gonna be like broken or messed up or too powerful. That's gonna absolutely happen. Absolutely. Cranky's Verse says there was already a day 1 patch for the 5.5e player handbook. You gotta be kidding me. Is that true? What was that called? How can I find that on Google? D&D 2024 PHB patch. What is it called? How can I find it on Google? Where is that? Let me show you my screen. I'm trying to find this. I typed in this. Does anybody know what I should find? The day 1 patch was a change in D&D Beyond and not a published errata. Oh, okay. So they didn't publish an errata, they just changed it on D&D Beyond. Does anybody know like what the issues were? Like what types of things were they updating already? Already. Oh, there are northern lights tonight? Oh, cool. I'll look out my window. I don't really have a clear view of the northern sky, but I'll see what I can see. Feth says, as an aspiring game designer, every feature we add or think about adding gets tested as we prototype them. We only test everything together after each sprint. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Vernon says, WotC can test my unit. I don't know what that means, dude. I don't know what that means. Fred says the correct patch would be reset to the 2014 books. I mean, the 2014 books have a bunch of problems too, you know? All right, I'm looking for more questions. Does anybody have any questions? Maybe you asked something and you want to repost it or something because I did not answer it. But feel free to repost or ask questions. Throw them in there. I'm ready to answer some questions now that we've talked a little bit about the newest version to D&D. All right, don't forget, we are doing a giveaway tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You can join it at the link in the chat. We're going to draw the winner at the end of the live stream, which is in about 10 minutes or so. So this is probably going to be your last chance to join the giveaway. If you win the giveaway, you're going to get a 3-month membership to the DM Lair Patreon. And every single month, DM Lair patrons get an issue of Lair magazine. There's some examples of it on screen right here. We publish for both D&D 5th edition and Pathfinder 2. We publish adventures, traps, puzzles, monsters, short adventures, and other cool stuff. So every single month you'll get some of that. So I mean, if you win, obviously you get a 3-month membership. And then if you want to just become a patron and get Lair magazine, you can do so at the links down below as well. It's a great way to support the content we create. Maybe you've been binging on our videos or just learning a lot as a game master and you want to help support what we do. Our Patreon is a great way to do that. And you're also going to get a whole bunch of cool stuff that you can use in your games as well. So that's like score, win and win for everybody. So got the giveaway, so join the giveaway. And I will be at GameholeCon next week. That is in Wisconsin. You can Google it, GameholeCon. And if you see me, please come say hi and talk and chat and stuff. I'm mostly in my basement like every single day. And I live a really sad, lonely life down here, just working away in my basement. My dog bugging me, wanting to go outside, and my cat's biting my ankles and stuff. So it's really cool to be able to talk to people at conventions. So please come say hi. And then I'm probably going to be running a pickup game of Shadow Dark on Saturday at GameholeCon. I'll probably post on my YouTube channel, my community tab, and then I'll make a post on the Discord as well. So keep an eye out for that if you're at GameholeCon. I'm more than likely going to do that Saturday afternoon because I couldn't find any games to join. So I was like, I might as well just run a game then instead of sitting here twiddling my fingers or wandering the vendor hall, which I probably will do anyway at some other point. So, and then we are also hiring a few more writers for the DM Lair. So if you are interested in writing for us, there's a link in the chat where you can apply. Greg, can you pop the link in chat, please, where people can apply? I'd appreciate that. And just if you do apply to be a writer for us, please share your portfolio. If you don't post your portfolio to the application, you just get thrown into the no pile. It's the way it works. You have to have a portfolio. And if you don't have anything to show us, write something really quick for it. It's you gotta have a portfolio. So there you go. Okay. Oh, really? We're gonna be able to see the aurora in Michigan? Oh, that's interesting. What is your favorite question from players about character building for a campaign? My favorite question from players? I have no idea. Players ask me a variety of questions. I just don't know offhand. Sorry, man. Have you taken a look at the new Assassin's Creed TTRPG? No, I don't know anything about it. It's getting released later this month. It's looking really well designed so far. No, I haven't heard. I didn't even know they were doing it until now. I played Assassin's Creed a few times, not extensively, but it's pretty cool. I liked it. It's pretty fun. I mostly play StarCraft 2 right now because I can play it like. I can take a little break from work and play StarCraft 2 for like a half an hour or so is like a match and then go back to work and, you know, but if I get into a game like, if I were to get into a game like Baldur's Gate 3 I don't think I'd get any work done. That's why I have to avoid certain games. Oh, look at Goliath Cleric. Goliath Cleric says, I literally wrote something to make a portfolio when I first started writing for Luke. Yes. See, Goliath Cleric, he is now our director. What is your title? Director of game director. What is your official title? I never use your official title, but Zach, you have an official title for us. Zach works for me. He's my man. What is your official title? You don't remember. Neither of us remember his official title. He just makes a bunch of money doing game design and project management and all the fun stuff that we get to do. He'd need to look at our contract. Anyway, he works for us now, but he started out by just writing for us. And apparently he didn't have a portfolio, and he literally wrote something to put in his portfolio, and then he got a job writing for us, and now he's like, you know, in charge of a lot of crap, and he's my dude. I just like, Zach, I don't want to work today, go do it for me. I don't actually do that. I wish I could. Like, Zach, I don't want to do these videos, can you go do these videos for me? That'd be awesome. I need to get someone that can just do the videos for me. Like, can they do an AI me? So like, I don't have to do the videos. I can just totally recreate me with AI, and then I can just go on vacation permanently. Is that a thing that we can do yet? Does that technology exist yet? Does anybody know? I'm probably gonna play a quick game of StarCraft right before I go to bed today, actually. As soon as the stream is over, I'm almost assuredly gonna go play some StarCraft 2. Just take a quick little game to relax, you know, and then, yeah. I think my favorite, so there are 3 races in StarCraft 2. There's the Zerg, there's the Protoss, and there's the Terrans. And I really like the Zerg and the Protoss for different reasons. I probably play the Zerg the most, followed by the Protoss. The Terrans, I don't like playing Terran. I just don't like it. I don't know exactly why. I just don't like the Terran race very much. But the Zerg and the Protoss are really fun. I like those a lot. Can we get an example of what goes on in a portfolio to be a writer for you? Like, I don't know if I have an example offhand that I can show you, but I just we want to see we want stuff that demonstrates that you can write and that you can game design. So if you write an adventure, that would be great. If you've designed monsters, send us some monsters you've created, some traps you've created, that would be fine. If you've written puzzles, you know, but we want to see that you can write well and that you have a mind for game design. That's the things we're looking for. So, yeah, I mean, shoot, look at Lair magazine. Like, this is so obvious to me, but if you're trying to get hired for a job and you know what they produce as part of the job, go look at what they produce. Okay, so for instance, if you're writing for us, you'd be creating stuff for Lair magazine. So it's like, okay, cool. What do they make in Lair magazine? Oh, then you can see adventures and you can see other things we publish. Okay, cool. Now, then write an adventure the way we write adventures, and then put that in your portfolio. Make it short. Our adventures are kind of long, so you can make a short adventure. That's fine, you know. But if you can make write a short adventure, look at Lair magazine, see how we do it, and then you write your own, and then put that in your portfolio. That would be spectacular, because then you're demonstrating your writing ability, your game design ability, and you're demonstrating that you can follow our style guide and you can do things our way, which is going to be a requirement because we publish our things a very specific way. So that would be a great way to do it. So you don't even need to see examples of what other people have submitted. You could just, you know, go create something that would be similar to what we would publish, you know? Obviously, we don't use any of the submissions in our publications. We're not doing that. I'm not in the business of stealing people's work and crap. That would be a very stupid thing for me to do. So it's but whatever you submit is just for the purpose of the submission, you know. But that would be a very smart way to do it, to show us what you could do, and that'd be very good. Do you play StarCraft 2 on the ladder or just versus the computer? I just play versus the computer. I don't like playing versus people because I'm not very good. And usually when I play versus human players, I just get my butt handed to me. I get destroyed. And I play StarCraft 2 to relax and relieve steam and just, you know, kind of just have fun. And in the past, this is back in college days, I would play against people, and they're all so much better than I am that it's just mostly just a frustrating experience. And that's not why I play the game. So I play against the computer. Jacob says somebody else could replicate you and not share the revenue with you. That's the way the industry is going for voice actors, at least. Oh, replicate you and not share the revenue with you. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I would not be okay with that. What are we talking about? Please don't submit other people's work as your own. I do check, and people have done that. Oh yeah, don't do that. You'll get. Well, here's what happens. Here's what's gonna happen. Let's pretend that you do take somebody else's professionally written work and you submit it and claim it as your own. Okay, let's pretend you do that. And then let's pretend that we don't catch you. Let's pretend we're like, hey, you're hired because that was amazing. Yay. And then you get hired. Do you know what's immediately gonna happen? Your first assignment for us, we're gonna be like, what the heck is this garbage? What? Like, what he sent us in his portfolio was amazing. And then his first thing he turns into us is garbage. Do you know what's gonna immediately happen? You're never gonna get another assignment. Because like, we're just gonna be like, no, well, I mean, we even if we never catch you that you stole somebody else's work, you're gonna turn something into us that isn't that good probably. Because if you were capable of doing something good, you probably would have just done that for your portfolio, I'm assuming. So if you turn stuff into us that isn't good, you're just not gonna get another assignment and it'll be all over. So it doesn't actually get you anywhere. It's not like, you know, a normal job where like you can get hired under false pretenses and then like they can't fire you. It's not like that. You just won't get any more work. So it doesn't actually help you to like lie about what you're able to do if you're not able to actually do it. Because we care about results, and if what you turn into us sucks, then you're never gonna get another assignment. You won't, because I'm not gonna pay hundreds of dollars for garbage. I won't do it. Won't do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna draw the winner of the giveaway, and we're gonna close this beast down. Draw winner. Let's go. Draw the winner. Woo! Oh, this name looks familiar. I think this person has won before because I recognize this name. Evan from Michigan. Congratulations, you have won the giveaway. I will be sending you an email and we're gonna get you hooked up with a 3-month membership to the DM Lair Patreon. Congratulations, Evan. Look for my email. And all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's all she wrote. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go play some StarCraft 2. You have yourselves a wonderful evening. I hope to see some of you at GameholeCon next week. Please come say hi if you see me. I love talking to people. So, all right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna find my buttons and I'm gonna leave. Yeep. End stream. Bye.